All right, ladies and gentlemen, buenas noches. You guys ready for our final act of the evening? You guys had a good time today? It's fantastic, fantastic. All right, guys. Well, what we have here is a fantastic, fantastic group. Nicholas Carter with Son Del Sur. Son Del Sur's blending of exuberant Latin American and world rhythms, soothing acoustic string instrumentation, and soulful percussion elements offer a musical journey through tropical landscapes. Son del Sur, meaning Sound of the South, delights audiences with their unique combination of traditional and contemporary Latin American music and easy, warm, and intimate manner in which it is shared. The musicians are Nicholas Carter, Paraguayan harp, Mauricio Sanchez, guitar and flutes, guitarrón. Michael Bissonette, percussion. And Jorge Gonzalez, guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this group as it connects with your soul. And without further ado, Nicholas Carter with Son del Sur.
That was a song from Paraguay. Paraguay is a landlocked country right in the heart of South America. That's where I grew up, and I learned to play this instrument that you're hearing right now. This is called the Paraguayan harp. It's the national folk instrument of that country. I grew up in Paraguay. Jorge, who's playing guitar, he grew up in Colombia. Mauricio grew up in Mexico, in southern Mexico, in the state of Veracruz. We all ended up falling in love with women from Minnesota, and that's the reason we are here. It's not because we love the cold winters, though I know they're getting milder, and it's that's closer to our heart as the mildest it gets. And just to make things a little different for our group, we have a guy from Massachusetts, Michael Bissonette.
Guess which one?
I met Michael at, well, it was at Chipotle, waiting in line. He's a very conversative guy, and he doesn't shy of talking with strangers. He gave me his business card, and he said in it that he played all kinds of percussion instruments from all over the world. If you visit his garage, it's quite a collection. He also, on the bottom of his card, had a little thing that said he does brain surgery. So that's how I met Michael many years ago, and we've been playing together for many years here in this beautiful part of United States, Minnesota, and we're very happy to be here in Burnsville. We're going to take you now to Argentina. We're going to move up across the continent of South America. This was a tango called El Choclo, which means the ear of a corn, but that was the nickname of a guy who owned a tango club in Buenos Aires, and they dedicated the song to him. You know, I grew up in Paraguay. I have many family members from the area of Argentina and Uruguay, and we all have these many jokes about people from Argentina or Uruguay because they have a style of speaking Spanish that's very much because of the influence of the Italian people there. So it's very, they think they know a lot, you know, and they speak, hey, che, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Tanto tiempo que no te veo, you know, hey, pibe, bueno, vení que te digo algo, vení que te cuento lo que me pasó. You know, it's a very dramatic style, and And so we just joke that they show off too much. They think they're too good, you know. And one of the jokes we have is, you know why the Argentinians smile every time there's lightning in the sky? You know? You don't, huh? They smile because they think God is taking pictures of them. Anyways. We'll go to Brazil now, the largest country in South America. Absolutely beautiful music there, all kinds of music. And this is a song from Northeast Brazil. It's called Mulher Rendeira, which is a woman who makes a lace. And it's a very old, popular song in the Northeast. And this is our version of it. going to contrast from this music that really brings you the feel of the coastline, the beautiful Atlantic Ocean that runs by Brazil, to the mountains of South America. This is to Peru. And this is an old song that's quite a favorite one. It's called El Condor Pasa, the flight of the condor. And long ago, in the times of the Incas, the native people from the mountains of Peru, music was always part of their many sacred rituals. And after they were conquered by the Spaniards, many of these traditions continued, and many of them depicting different events, different things that had happened in their lives. And the Condor Pasa is the sort of scenario that depicted the moment when the Spaniards were going to capture the last emperor of the Incas, Atahualpa, and they were chasing him up the mountains. And they arrived to this cave, and that's where they thought he was. And as they approached, instead of finding him, this big condor flies out of the cave towards the sun. And as the Incas believed, their emperors were the sons of the sun, God, and they were untouchable. And so this song, in a way, is a remembrance of that time. El Condor Pasa. Simon and Garfunkel, by the way, used this melody way back in the 60s, and it became popular all over the world. When they were sending music out into space, I understand that this was one of the melodies that was included. was featuring Mauricio Sanchez. He's one of the few musicians in Minnesota that can switch his hands to so many different instruments, from the Andean instruments that he's playing, the different flutes, the charango, which is that small little mandolin, which is also from the Andes, and that acoustic bass that he's playing right now, that's also, that's not from the Andes, that's from Mexico, and it's the traditional bass that's used in mariachi music. So here we are really combining instrumentation from all these different countries in South America, from Northern America and South America. And we don't even know what Michael has in his collection, but if you have questions, just come and see him. He's got shelves, and he makes these instruments of himself. You know, he's got long stories of each little toy that he plays with. This is a little samba from Brazil. It's called Samba do Orfeu. So where is our Latino audience that's present here tonight? We're still here. Where are you from, by the way? Can you just shout out what country do you come out? Yes, sir. From Veracruz, too? From southern Mexico, like Mauricio? Yes. Colombianos, okay, like Jorge, yeah. Ecuador, muy bien, yes. Anywhere else? Massachusetts. De Colombia? Wow. So we have them from all over there, huh? ¿De dónde? De Mexico? Okay, it's nice to have you here. We're gonna do this. This is a little waltz from Venezuela. And you know, in Venezuela also they play the harp in an area called Los Llanos de Venezuela. And this is a very, very well-loved song from that part of the world. gracias. A lot of people ask me, what is the difference between this harp and the harp that you normally see here in the Northern Hemisphere? Well, it's a very complete, it's a very different instrument. For one thing, this is a what do we call, a folk instrument. It's not the classical harp that has the big pedals in the bottom and you can change half notes with the pedals in the bottom. With a folk harp, you've got to change them with these little levers that I'm flipping up and down when I'm playing this last song. And so each string has two settings, a note up or a note down. The other big difference is really in the fingernails, that we use long fingernails to play, which, it makes sense that in a tropical country where I grew up, your fingernails grow strong quite easily. But when you come to Minnesota and you have to live through a winter where it gets really dry in your homes, your fingernails get brittle and they break. And I've tried so many different ways to try to keep these nails strong. You won't believe it. I mean, at the beginning, Mauricio and I, we used to play at some Mexican restaurants way back almost 15 years ago. And I would say, gosh, I broke a nail. And I would just say, okay, I'll just buy a fake set of fingernails at Target for $1.99. It comes with the glue. And I would just glue those on right before I went to play. But those, they worked okay. But once in a while, they just, they didn't hold on. And next thing you know, the fingernail would fly off, And the thing was that, we'd be all looking in the ground. Where did the fingernail go, One time it landed in a plate of refried beans of the customer, which was not too nice. So I kind of had to stop that one. And another time, I lived in France for a year, and I played with another harp player from Latin America, and he said, just put crazy glue on your fingernails. It's a great deal. And you just put them at the ends, and it will harden up, and they will be fine. And it was great. We traveled in train in France from one place to another. We put the glue on the fingernail in the train with time to just relax and let them dry. But when I got back to this hectic, crazy life that we have here, where we're always in a hurry, right? We always got to get somewhere, and I think, I got to go to my job. I got to go put my fingernails down. I glue on my fingernails, and I quickly put the glue on, and then I forget about it, and I reach into my pocket for my key, and next thing I was automatically glued to my pants. So that one didn't work. I gave up, and my wife said to me, just go to Lovely Nails and get them done there. So now I go to a place called Lovely Nails. I show up with a very deep voice. Oh, I need to get my nails done today. Anyways, for our friends of Ecuador, we want to give you a little melody from Ecuador, featuring Mauricio and the various flutes from the beautiful Andes. Well, folks, we have time for our last little song here before we say goodbye. I'm wondering if you have any questions here in the audience. I always like to kind of wonder what is in your mind, or what are you curious about when you're hearing some of these songs and melodies from these different parts of South America. Do you have any questions? Yes. Do you have any question? Do we have a CD with us? Yes, we do have a CD. Thank you for mentioning that. I almost forgot. Son Del Sur has a CD of music from various parts of the Spanish-speaking world, primarily the areas of South America and Latin America where they play harp music. Which, by the way, this is an instrument that, it was brought through the Spaniards back in the 1600s. And it's interesting that it was introduced in different parts of the Americas, and it really developed into a unique tradition, quite different from one to another. So Paraguay, where I grew up, I mean, you travel there right now, you get off on the plane, and on the main road into town, you will see harps lined up on the outside of these shops, And you might hit an event where there's a concert where there's 100 students playing together the harp. I don't know anywhere else in the world where that phenomenon exists. But in Venezuela, especially in the flatlands of Venezuela and Colombia as well, it's a very popular instrument, the Spanish harp, their kind of development of it. In southern Mexico, in Veracruz, is also very, very popular. In fact, many Mexican mariachis have harp as well. So yes, you see it in many parts of the Spanish-speaking world, and the CDs will be available. Just come and see us. We're going to be somewhere around back here after we're done. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes. What's the?
This is from Western Mexico, and yeah, it is a bass guitar. It was actually a smaller guitar first called vihuela, exactly with the same shape, but later the mariachis thought that they needed a bass, and they just made it bigger and put bigger or thicker strings, and that's what they call guitarrón. Means in Spanish, huge guitar.
Yeah. So anything that ends with on in Spanish, just so you know, it means it's big. Guitarrón. The O makes it big, Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us and hanging in there till 9 o'clock tonight. We want to end with a song that we love very much. This is called Moliendo Café. You might have heard of it. It's called Grinding Coffee. Échale, compadre.
Muchas gracias. Muy buenas noches. That's Michael Bisonet on percussion. Mauricio Sanchez on the bass and flutes. This is Jorge Gonzalez on guitar. My name is Nicolás Carter. We're Son Del Sur. Gracias. Thank you for having us here.
Gracias, Nicolás. Gracias, Nicolás and crew. Once again, Son del Sur. Round of applause. Well, this tops off our evening with our act here. But prior to us concluding, I would like to introduce our mayor of our wonderful city of Burnsville here, who had the idea to bring this wonderful festival to Burnsville, and it has grown from being at a junior high school to now being here at the beautiful heart of the city. So without further ado, Mayor Kautz.
Thank you, Carlos. It's great to see all of you, and I know that there's been a lot of folks going in and out all day today. So how many of you are from Burnsville? Can I see a show of hands? Excellent. Good to have you here in the Performing Arts Center. And if you lived in Burnsville, have you been to the Performing Arts Center before? Can I see a show of hands? Okay. And so how many first time? Oh, wonderful. Come again. How many of you are south of the river? Okay, how many of you are north of the river? Excellent. Thank you for coming south of the river. Come back, enjoy Burnsville, enjoy the Performing Arts Center, and also the different festivals that we have here in Burnsville. This is the International Festival, and then in September we'll have the Fire Muster. So come and enjoy all of the festivals in Burnsville. It is our culture economy. Enjoy, have a great night, and a wonderful weekend.